Okay, here is our second day of notes, which means this is going to be on your second page. That means that this needs to be written not only here, but it also needs to be written on your table of contents under topic number 2. So it's your second entry into your table of contents, guys. Just so you know, these notes are relatively long as far as me talking and giving directions. So I'm going to be going pretty fast. If at any point you need to rewind, feel free to do so. Um, for today, the first part of the notes are going to look like this. So go ahead and break it up into 3 sections. This part where the notes is going to be done in a separate video because we haven't covered it in class just yet. Okay, so make sure go ahead and start up 3 sections. Again, I'm going to assume that you already paused the video and that you wrote this down. If you haven't done so, go ahead and do that. I'm just going to go ahead and get started with the notes. So it says definition: collinear points are points that lie on the same line. In order for us to show that, I'm going to go ahead and draw a line like this. And I'm going to go ahead and draw points A, B, and C. And I want you to notice that points A, B, and C are in fact all on the same line. And so I can go ahead and say that it is collinear. So on the right hand side, I'm going to write points A, B, and C are collinear. Okay, a little bit of extra notes down here. I also want to point out that through any 2 points, there always exists a line. That is to say, 2 points are always collinear. And we're going to put that in a thought bubble here just so we know that that is one concise thought. Now, what does that mean? Well, what that means is if you have a random dot, let me just put a random dot here. Don't put that in your notebook, okay? This is just for illustrative purposes only. Let's say I put a random dot here and I put another random dot here, then there always exists some line that connects 2 dots. So I can definitely find that line, and therefore those 2 dots that we started off with are collinear because there is a line that will exist that gets that it connects those 2 points. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. It says non-collinear points are points that do not lie on the same line. So I'm going to go ahead and draw an image that looks very similar to the first one. I'm going to go ahead and draw a line. On that line, I'm going to put point A, and I'm going to put point B. But then I have this random point over here, point C. Now, notice that points A and B are on the line, but point C is not on the line. That is to say, points A, B, and C, when I talk about them as a group, are not collinear, okay? Because I'm talking about these 3 points, and there is not one single line that will contain all three. So I'm going to write points A, B, and C are non-collinear. In fact, if I were to start connecting these points like this, you would see that it would make a triangle. I'm going to go ahead and call that a plane. We start making this flat surface here that's two-dimensional, okay? And you're going to see that in the very next example. We're going to go ahead and write a quick note, though. I'll put a little star here and say through any 3 non-collinear points, there exists exactly one plane. And we'll define what a plane is on the very next vocab word. Oh, that reminds me, since these are vocab words, we should be highlighting them. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight collinear and non-collinear points. All right, moving on to the third one. It says a plane extends in 2 dimensions and is described as a flat surface with no thickness. I want you to think of a sheet of paper. A plane is named using three non-collinear points. So we're going to go ahead and draw 3 points that are not collinear. That means they are not on the same line. I'm going to call this point A, point B, and point C. I'm going to go ahead and connect these 3 points. And just like last time, this starts making a plane. We're also going to go ahead and include this cursive letter M. So how would I describe that plane? Now remember, this is a flat surface, right? And even though it looks like a triangle, technically this flat surface extends forever this way, extends forever this way, extends forever this way. Obviously, I can't draw all of it because I don't have enough space. So I would just draw that triangular shape to represent my plane. And if I wanted to write the plane using the notation, I would call this plane ABC. For a plane, you need to label 3 points on that plane that are not um, collinear, right? They're not on the same line. And A, B, and C are definitely not on the same line. It also has a different name, and some of you guys can kind of already see it. Because I'm using this cursive M, then that cursive M is describing that plane. It's giving it the name of that plane in particular. So I can also call it plane M. By the way, planes are two-dimensional. Non-collinear points, I believe, are also two-dimensional. I'm going to leave that blank just because I'm not 100% sure. But collinear points are definitely one-dimensional. When we're talking about moving in a line, you can only move in one direction, either this way or this way, but along this one particular line. So we say that that is one-dimensional. When we're talking about a plane, not only can you move along this line, but you can also move along this line and this line. Basically, you can go up, down, left, right. So we say that that is two-dimensional when we have a flat space. When we're talking about a point in itself, it's literally just a point, and it cannot go up, it cannot go down, it cannot go left, it cannot go right. So since that point is stationary, we say that this is zero dimensional. Okay, so that's just for you to know. And now we're going to go ahead and get into the big spot. Oh, I forgot again. We should be highlighting that vocabulary word. A plane is like a flat surface. Okay. All right. So it says non-coplanar points are and lines all lie on the same plane. I'm sorry, coplanar points and lines all lie on the same plane. Non-coplanar figures do not lie on the same plane. So in order to illustrate this, we're going to do a pretty complicated looking drawing. It's going to end up looking almost like a water wheel, or like yeah, like a water wheel. I think that would probably be the best way to describe it. So um, I'm going to go way faster than I did in class. But again, that's because you have the benefits to pause and to rewind if you get a little stuck. So in order to draw this figure, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself like a little guideline in pencil right there. Okay, don't make it go end to end. Make it go right around that far. And then we're going to need three different highlighters. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my first highlighter. With my first highlighter, I'm going to pick pink. I'm going to go up and to the left. I'm sorry, up and to the right from this guideline right here. And it's going to be going up 2 lines to start making a parallelogram. So there's my first line. I'm going to use my other guideline from here and go up and to the left 2 lines. Try to make it parallel to the first. And then we're just going to go ahead and finish up that parallelogram like that. Make sure you do not color it in. Just leave it like that. Okay. That's not done with that pink. So I'm going to extend that parallelogram over to the other side. So I'm going to continue this line from that guideline. Make sure it's straight. Sorry, I'm trying to, there we go. Make sure that it's straight. And it goes 2 lines as well. Same thing here. I'm going to go straight, continue that line, go 2 lines as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and connect. And now I have a parallelogram that's 4 lines long. Okay. All right, I'm going to move on to the next color. Notice I'm not coloring anything. Excuse me. I'm going to go ahead and pick a different color. I'm going to pick green. I'm going to go from that guideline. I'm going to go up and to the left 3 lines like that. I'm going to do the exact same line going from the other guideline, and I'm going to start building a parallelogram. That's 3 lines going up. And then just like last time, I'm going to go ahead and extend that parallelogram using a straight line. Extend it over here. And now you should have a parallelogram that's 6 lines long. Now that I have that parallelogram going, I'm going to go ahead and pick a different color. Notice I'm not coloring in anything just yet. I'm going to go ahead and pick blue. You can pick whatever you want. And I'm just going to make a rectangle that goes straight up. A rectangle that goes straight up. And this one goes 4 lines up. And then we're just going to extend that to go 4 lines down, 4 lines down, and 4 lines. Oh, we're just going to go across like this. So hopefully you're seeing like a spinner thingy kind of bob, right? Like I want to kind of grab it and just spin it down. Um, and you can see like it's three-dimensional. Some part of it is popping towards you, part of it is popping towards the back, and part of it is going straight up and down. Okay. Now all of this doesn't mean anything unless you color it correctly. So I'm going to try to do my best to try to get you guys to color correctly. I'm going to focus on this first shape that we did right here. You see this corner right here and how it's pink? Well, I'm going to go ahead and take that pink shape and I'm going to color just the top parallelogram right there. So go ahead and take whatever color highlighter you pick for that corner that I just mentioned. Go ahead and color in just the top parallelogram. And again, I'm just going to go fast because you have the benefit of pausing the video if I start to go too fast. Once that is colored in, now I'm going to go ahead and focus on this back tip right here. That back tip in my case is green, and I'm only going to color this triangle on the left hand side. So let me go ahead and do that right now. Just that triangle here. And then at the very top, we have whatever's left over. It almost looks like it's a folder that's opening towards you in pink and opening towards the back in green. And in this folder, I got a white sheet of paper that's sticking up. Hopefully you can kind of see what I'm seeing. And whatever's left over in white on top, I'm going to go ahead and color that leftover blue. Now that I have this colored in, I'm going to go ahead and jump to the bottom. On the bottom part, again, we're going to do the exact same process, but in a different order. So I'm going to focus on this corner right here, which in this case gives me that green parallelogram. And I'm going to go ahead and color all of this with this whatever color we picked, which in my case is green. And we're going to color that green parallelogram in. Once you're done coloring that green parallelogram, you're going to hop over to this corner right here. In this case, my corner is pink. And I'm going to go ahead and color just this triangle, whatever color that is. And so I take my pink highlighter and I just color that in. And then same thing, we have like a folder that's folded downwards with that sheet of paper that's popping out. And whatever's left over, which in my case is blue, I'm going to go ahead and color the rest of the white regions that remaining color. Okay, and hopefully you have exactly what I have, and you have that spinner, right? Like that water wheel where you pour water in and it just starts spinning, okay? So now that I have it drawn out, we're going to go ahead and start labeling this. So take a pen or a pencil. We're going to go ahead and label these points. The first point is going to be point A. Top left is going to be point B. Top is going to be point C. And then as I go around, I got point D. Point E is going to be on this upper right-hand side. Point F is over here. Point G is where all those planes meet. And then we're going to stick point H right smack in the middle. Now I'm going to jump to the bottom left and I got point I, point J, point K. And this is the part of the spinner that I can't see. I'm going to call that, whoa, 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 whoa. I just realized what I did. Sorry guys, it's a long day. I started calling point J and point J. No, 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 that should be point K and point L, point M, and point N. All right, we did all this work. We're going to go ahead and ask you 5 different questions on this one. Just because it took us so long to draw it, we might as well take good use of it, okay? So let's see. First one, points. A, H, G, and N are A, H, G, and N. Here's A, here's H, here's G, and here's N. Now, I want you to notice that all of those are lying on that green flap or the green plane. A, H, G, and N are all part of this green colored plane. And so because they're all part of the exact same plane, I can say A, H, G, and N are all coplanar points. So I'm going to say are coplanar. All right, let's take a look at another one. Let's go with line DF and line AG. Here is line DF and here is line AG. If you look at those two lines, it looks like they are both part of this pink plane right here. They both make up part of this pink region. And since they're part of the same pink plane, then I can say that these two lines are coplanar. Got a little sloppy there, sorry for that. All right, let's take another one. Let's go line CE and line FG are, let's take a look. I got line CE, which is up here, and line FG, which is over here. I take a look at these, and this is part of the blue plane, and this is part of the pink plane. These aren't on the same plane, so I'm going to say that these are non-coplanar. They do not belong on the same plane. We got 2 more, guys. We're going to go points. FGCE, FGCE are FGCE. Let's see, if I start connecting F with G, okay, and then I go to C, and then I go to E. Okay, well, F and G are part of the pink plane, but I had to jump over, and now I'm on the blue plane with the blue plane. So these are not part of the same plane. They're jumping to different planes. Since they're not part of the same plane, I'm going to say these are non-coplanar. All right, and the last one is the tricky one. I'm going to go ahead and say points BAGN. BAGN are BAGN, BAGN. If I take a look at all those, it looks like all of those belong to this green plane right here. Now, part of it is in the back, part of it is in the front, but it doesn't matter because the plane goes on forever. And all of those points, B, A, G, and N, belong to that green plane. And so I'm going to say they are coplanar. All right. Now, when we did this, right, this is a 3-dimensional figure. In class, we added an extra problem. And I know we're running out of space right here. And so what I did, because it didn't fit here anymore, is I got a sticky note and I pass it out. So if you have a yellow sticky note or any kind of sticky note, go ahead and do this extra problem on a sticky note. I will do it on a sticky note as well. So let's see, I got some space right here. I'm going to go ahead and create my sticky note. You are going to go ahead and grab your own sticky note. And give me 1 second while I get rid of this. Oop, oop, oop. Sorry, guys. I know you guys can't see that on my screen, but it's kind of tripping out on my screen. So, all right, there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and create my own sticky note. And there it is. Hopefully you have yours. And we're going to go ahead and draw our last problem on this sticky note. In order for us to do this, I'm going to go ahead and draw in a plane. You're going to draw in your own plane. So here's almost like a sheet of paper, right? All right, there's my plane. And on that plane, I'm going to go ahead and draw two intersecting lines. So here's my first line. Here's my second line. And I'm going to go ahead and start labeling these points. I got point A, point B, point C, point D, and point E. Now that I have those drawn out, we're going to go ahead and so picture that as a sheet of paper, right? With me drawing two lines on that paper. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and draw like an arrow going straight through that piece of paper. Okay, like vertically through that piece of paper. So it's going to go like bam. Now, I said it was an arrow, so not only is that arrow pointing straight up, but it's also going right through the paper. But you can't see this part, so I'm going to go ahead and do a dashed line to represent like the part of the arrow that you can't see. But once it gets like through the bottom of the paper, then the rest of it you can. So I make it a solid line. I'm going to go ahead and call this point up here point R, and I'm going to call this point right here point S. Okay, so I have those drawn out. Now that I have them drawn out, we're going to go ahead and answer two questions. Question number one, points A, C, E, and R are A, C, E, and R. A, C, E, and R. If you notice, these 3 points down here are flat on the paper, and all of a sudden we went whoop and jumped straight up to the arrow. That last point is messing everything up. So these are non coplanar. They do not belong on the same plane. R is the one that kind of messed stuff up there. Okay. All right. We're going to do one more. Points C, D, E, and A are C, D, E, and A. C, D, E, A. If you notice, these 3 points are all on that sheet, which means they all belong to this plane, which means they are in fact coplanar. And that is it for the notes for today, guys. What I would like you to do is I would like you to grab this sticky note, and you're just going to grab it and you're going to swing it up to the top. Now, again, for me, it's going to take me a while. But ideally, what I would like you to do is keep this sticky note like somewhere right there. And on mine, it's transparent, but on yours, it's going to cover that up. That's fine. You're going to be able to move the sticky note and see what's behind it at any point for you, like move the sticky note there or whatnot. Okay. All right, guys. Hopefully that helps. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.